wrong way.
Yeah, that's how I grade through all the knowledge I know about making fried chicken nuggets.
Should have gotten a bigger container.
And of course, these pieces were so massive, they barely fit into the pot. Finally, the chocolate dip. Literally just drenched this thing all over chocolate. Put the whole sandwich together the best I could, and this actually tasted real good.
Wow.
Apparently, restaurants are making chocolate frozen viral gummy bear trend. Well, what? Try to make it even better. So I put a bunch of colors into a giant gummy bear mold and got some melty, which in theory I thought would look a lot cuter. Still, I was committed. So I poured Sprite all over and immediately ran out of it. So we worked with what we had and soaked it overnight. So when it came out, it was so freaky. So I froze it anyways, and yeah, this whole thing kind of failed epically. Remember when we made the edible keyboard? So what if we made an edible metal instead? You like making AI edible planets? And you all wanted me to try it too. But when I started painting it, it's like disappearing my paint. That's disappointing. So I resorted to painting them after the chocolates had hardened and popped them out of the bowl, hoping this will work.
It's working.
They're just
It's sticking.
Minus my artistic abilities. So I had to make the inside gooey. I added a little glitter to make it more galaxy-like. With Mars, I went with marshmallow fluff. Glued the two packs together, and this came out super oozy. Just like a real galaxy. Everyone's been apparently, people have been ordering their drinks in a pumpkin, so I wanted to see if it was actually worth the hype. But carving many pumpkins isn't all what it's cracked out to be.
Don't trust me with that.
And look, I've washed this thing thoroughly because I did not want pulpy pumpkin in my latte. So luckily, the actual pumpkin spice part was easy. Well, sort of. Chopping that milk just got really messy.
Choose this kind of thing.
I poured it all in, topped it with some cinnamon dust, and dang, it tastes real good.
Never pick
Here?
me.
When I was a kid, I opened my own restaurant out of my kitchen. I was an anxious child. So before opening for the day, I pre-made my entire menu.
You wouldn't believe how many peanut butter banana sandwiches I made.
Enough to feed the whole neighborhood. So when Amy walked in, to see the kitchen destroyed and me sitting by the door, waiting for customers who didn't exist.
She just stood there, horrified.
And said, "This is so wasteful. Who's gonna eat all this?" I hadn't thought that far. So she made me sit there until I ate every single sandwich.
And that was the day I retired from the restaurant business.
Recreating old recipes, if I've actually improved. Last time I made this one, I had a cookbook. But this time, I wrote one. Except I somehow forgot that kneading this with bare hands would be...
It's very hot.
My impatience cannot.
I can't even follow my own recipe.
So when
Come
I came
on,
baking
Emma.
the donuts,
Heavy.
perfectly
Take them out. Take it.
straight into the oil. Although sometimes
You think that
Come on.
they call
Good
it.
job.
I think
She needs to go pee.
No, I think the girl wants
I cannot go right now. Take it.
Patience.
No.
Recreating
I'm
old
starting a game. I
We
cannot go.
turned every
If
AI
not, they're
element
gonna
edible.
burn
You're starting it. That doesn't mean you have started.
But I cannot put stop. This is like 1 minute to start.
Real fast. But this was so nerve-wracking to release from the balls, and to make it feel even more electric, I had to add candy wires. But the whole thing felt like it was missing that spark. Sparkle with candles
What kind of thing is this?
that didn't sparkle at all. To these numbers instead. Once we lit it up, it actually looked like real electricity. Shockingly good.
TK was on it.
Everybody's been making these AI black pancakes. I wanted to see what the hype was about. And look,
But
everything
if
was
you
going
take
great.
a piece, she went inside the house.
And transferring them to the plate. Already off to a great start. So I tried again, this time briefing them all first. While I was
Nope.
at it, I tried to get
Nope.
the first
I
batch
cannot
out.
leave. If I leave,
Gosh.
Glad I trusted my instincts and made too. Because the pink one held up a lot better. Woo! And that to him was definitely peak anxiety. But I was here for the end results. Totally worth it. Every day, after being able to eat your own clothes. Blacked out video that says that you can make fabric edible. Supposedly, if you mix a bunch of fun ingredients together, then pour and wait 10 minutes, it should form into a stretchy, shiny sheet. But for me, this never happened.
No, I haven't looked at
come
the
on,
video.
Eddie.
So I tried again, and the mixture was
Sophie.
a lot less free. And after
Fast.
10 minutes, it was starting to peel off. It feels like
Slime.
ridiculously sticky though, but this was pretty cool experiment. And we take this failed recipe and make it right this time because the last time I made this, everything fell apart. So this time I decided to add some brief salt to gelatin hold its place. And as I was pouring it over top, which is why I thought maybe I could seal it with chocolate to help keep it together easier and pop right out. Of course, I was so nervous to pop this out. This came out perfectly. What a redemption arc. Can we take it? When I was a kid, this girl that sat next to me randomly asked if I wanted to come over to her house after school. We weren't really that close, but sure, why not? Apparently, that made us best friends for Everybody's been making AI foods, so I wanted to try making this AI toaster. But to make this work, I needed to use ingredients that would be solid yet spreadable. Well, Rosanna tried butter, so let's do that.
Ravi, take you out. She inside the house.
As you can do it.
This is one of the most frustrating things that happens in the world.
Ravi,
Yeah, I got it. So 40 minutes
it's fast.
then let the cheese and spreadable on toast. Messy experiment, but worth it.
Come on, Ravi.
What if we turn 4 lines button eyes into cookies? But even though I know black is usually traditional, I decided to go with something that felt a little more formal. So I made them blue, and when I pressed and made them into button shapes, I got called out for using the wrong side of the
Oh, maybe it's supposed to look like that.
yeah, this makes them way more buttons. Then I iced one, pressed another one on top, and suddenly I had these button sandwich cookies. Cute. What if we took this cheesy potato dish and made it even better? But as I was making it, I was realizing there was so much cheese involved. So now for the fun part. I put it into a
Ravi,
dish, like,
I'm telling you to take it out.
No, wait, I don't want to do it. I don't want to.
I got that and tossed into some hot oil.
Why did I use too much?
She's asking all the time.
Crispy on the outside and molten potato cheesy on the inside. Perfectly satisfied. Why did you giant marshmallows and gummy bears? Because I found this mold that I really wanted to try. So I melted down a mountain of gummy bears and followed my usual recipe. But these weren't getting as fluffy as they were supposed to. So I put this left in a smaller bowl and got to work on another flavor. Adding a little more corn syrup, so this should fill up more. But apparently not. This was barely enough marshmallow to fill the mold. And after waiting overnight, I popped these out of the mold, and oh my gosh, these are ridiculously cute. What do you Is it possible to make honeycomb? Is it possible to make clear mac and cheese? The problem is that pasta isn't supposed to be see-through. So I got some inspiration from glass noodles and got myself some mung bean starch. But the starch just came out as ugly blobs. This just looks like sad jelly worms. We even blocked up all the holes except the center one. Oh! Nope, still didn't work. So I took an unconventional route and started using a piping bag. Low-key, I was kind of impressed this didn't suck. Then made a clear sauce by using cheese extract. Sounds like mac and cheese. It tastes like rather interesting. Is it? Apparently you can make simple dough with this dough. I wanted to see if this actually works. We needed to cool it down with some ice. With powder, eventually I got it into the whipped cream charger, so then I tried a test shot to see if this works. It exploded halfway across the room. Get my phone and everything. Once we finally got a clean spray, it actually kind of looked like shaving cream. I can't believe this is Jell-O. Cotton candy out of actual candy. And I was immediately skeptical by using candy like gummy bears because these would end up creating an easy mess. The bags and everything. What the heck? So I tossed things to Starburst, which were way more firm. And this was starting to look fluffy and promising, but as soon as it was done, it started collapsing back into its chewy state.
Let me give you
So by this point, I was losing all hope. Oh no, perfectly, and tasted so colorful. What if it's cotton candy? Candy that fizzes in your mouth, the Sausage Boys soda pop pie. I made up a sugar mixture and added some baking soda with citric acid. Except the recipe I was following, I ended up just being the recipe for honeycomb candy.
Basically, just a recipe to make domino now.
So since these aren't really fizzy, I tried it again. This time putting the baking soda and citric acid directly into the molds first, then pouring the molten sugar on top. But some of it started reacting right away. Oh my god, one of them were reacting. Luckily, popping these out was pretty simple, and they did actually get really fizzy. When I made candy, when I was a kid, I used to struggle with homework a lot. I was usually a thief, sometimes do student. But one day, I decided I was going to break out of this reputation and do this one assignment the best that I could. I thought, this is A+ material. When I handed it in, my teacher immediately asked me to stay after class. So why me? Whose paper is this?
Turns out she was convinced that I had plagiarized.
I told her repeatedly that this was my paper. Finally realizing that I was telling the truth, she frowned and said, well, failure is capable. Don't you think all your assignments should be this good?
I tried breaking out of that box.
It was balloons, but edible. So we whipped up the chewy concoction and got to work. But when we were pumping the helium into the sugar mixture, no bubbles were forming. So we tried reheating it a little more to thicken it up. We started getting some sad, tricky bubbles. None of them were really floating. Oh wait, most of them failed. But we did manage to get a couple animal shaped balloons. And they tasted great. What if you could make balloons? Think about how to make holographic cookies, because the last time I tried making holographic chocolate, it totally failed. So this time, I melted down some hard caramels and poured them onto some freshly baked cookies. But I had to move fast to get this holographic sheet up, because this was extremely hot. Oh, it's burning all over. But after a long time of waiting, these cookies were shiny and rainbowy and tasted delicious. Is it possible to make edible crystals that aren't a disaster? Because the last time, these weren't great. So this time, I came back with a new recipe and a whole lot of sugar. And it was supposed to turn out clear, but nope.
Yellow.
So I drowned it in food coloring, maybe a little too much, and I left it overnight to gellify. Then I'm carving them into gems. But this process was tedious. Then came the real challenge, waiting 5 days for these to harden. They look actually crunchy on the outside and deliciously soft on the inside. Is it possible to... Everybody's been making AI keyboards, so why don't we make one out of gummy bears? But because gummy bears are really sticky, I made sure to grease the mold like crazy beforehand. And then melted it. I used white gummy bears afterwards to pour over top. I ran them halfway through. I improvised with other colors to make them
I mean, if you look inside the house, you're gonna regret everything. I'm telling you.
with nothing boba in it. But this was the hardest recipe I've had to make for absolutely no reason. I guess the universe is trying to tell me to stay out the rest of the week, so I loaded the mix with a bunch of Kool-Aid, but these weren't forming into boba.
Why did the top day?
So when I tried again, these came out a lot better. So I put them in a chocolate mold, and I wanted to create a hollow space inside the chocolate, so I tried making a backing for the bar. Popped these up in the mold, and holy moly, these are... What did we make? What if you could make glowing black but edible? Because I just one ingredient that heats just like sugar. Except what they don't tell you is this stuff is so incredibly hot.
Leaving inside my fingers.
And as I was starting to get it, it cracked. So I remelted it and tried again. Nope. No matter what I did,
Almost.
at this point I was so frustrated that I just asked my husband if he could help. Of course, he has a lot more patience than I do, so
You
he
see
didn't
how
get
to
it
take
off
it out
the first
because
try.
they're gonna throw me out of the room. They're gonna
And this
lose.
is really cool. What if you could make glow
Because this game, if you go only 1 minute, they're gonna take you out.
candy at home using just dry ice? I put it into a cooler with some Skittles on top and left it there for a few days. But when I opened it, nothing. So I did more research. This time put them into a plastic bag where no air could escape. Got deep into the dry ice now, and the next morning they still looked like regular Skittles. Except when I bit into them, they kind of had a bug to them. But yeah, these didn't really work. Have you ever wanted to make food carbonated? Because apparently you can by using this method. But I don't feel like just about using this contraption for the first time. So 95% of me was convinced this was going to blow up. And these capsules were extremely cold too. Pop this into the fridge for about 12 hours, with that and deep pressure. Which was pretty scary when I finally opened it. This actually kind of blew my mind. Definitely worth doing again. You don't need to make Skittles popcorn in just 5 minutes, but to me the sound is so big. So maybe in the same pan, I thought would usually burn, which I learned the hard way when I made caramel corn. But I tried it the way the internet said. Yep, that was a complete fail.
This is such a fun in theory. In theory.
So I tried again, and this time poured melted syrup over regular popcorn. Better, but it didn't really coat it as much as I thought it would. Popcorn in the hot syrup actually did work better. And taste-wise, it's fine. When I was a kid, my friends and I used to play Ding Dong Ditch. One night, we hit this particular house way too many times, until this middle-aged woman came storming out, carrying a rolling pin like she was about to attack us. We all ran away and hid, except our youngest friend, who got hot and burst into tears as this woman tore into us. We all kind of felt bad, so we decided to apologize to her. But as we rang her doorbell
Come on.
again, this one came
Levi, não esfriasse to go out, Ravi.
Hey, I'm going to report you to your principal immediately. It had full hours, but okay. In a panic, I blurted out my bully's name from that school, and everyone else followed with fake names.
And we never spoke of it again. Me 2020.
Apparently, people have been taking What if they tried making Kim? Apparently, people have been taking keyboards and pouring honey all over them. I hate wasting food, so let's make this edible. Except when I started mixing the gelatin in, it started getting a little grainy. But I committed and popped it in the fridge to set. My bigger concern was actually taking this out of the mold. Every key started breaking. Luckily, I managed to get every key out and ended up piecing it back together like a puzzle. Then I poured the honey over top, and boy, was that interesting. I'm still trying to figure out how people sacrifice their real keyboards, but hey, at least it is. What if they tried making kimbap from K-pop demon hunters? Because if you're good on those demons, you better load up on those carbs. And honestly, this soundtrack will live so rent-free in my brain. I was getting distracted and forgot the most important stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, mine wasn't even close to perfect. But rolling it, I was trying not to include too much. But I
Doesn't
still
give
wanted it
me
to look
option there.
Where are we going?
And as tempting as it was to eat the whole log in one, yeah, no, I didn't do that. I kept it like a civilized person. It's a pure demon playing field.
Nina, come fast. I'm almost done.
We've been making all the elements edible air. To make sure that resemble bubbles. Except this was way more complicated than I was expecting. They kept cracking and they weren't really airy looking. And after multiple attempts at this, I got something, I guess. So I set the bubbles into a glass, then layered whatever I could find to make this more airy. Like little sparkles, which inevitably exploded.
That's the education you are
And
getting.
some bubbles spoke for those final seconds. Was eating it. It's really good. We've been turning all the elements edible, but well air. Sugary mixture that resemble bubbles. Except this was way more complicated than I was expecting. They kept cracking and they weren't really airy looking. And after multiple attempts at this, I got something, I guess. So I set the bubbles into a glass, then layered whatever I could find to make this more airy. Like little sparkles, which inevitably exploded. And some bubbles spoke for those final touches. And this actually felt like I was eating air. This one was good. I was making the popsicles from Utopia. I figured that the only proper way to do this was to start with a big enough popsicle that a baby elephant can enjoy. The only problem was that freezing this was kind of a nightmare. And when it was time to pull it out, it was so heavy. But once we got it out, it was time to start melting it down into smaller palm molds. Of course, with every drip, this kind of took a long time to wait. Two out of the molds, and it's a total scam worthy, made the honest way.
Okay.
Making the pop
Amazement.
what I get from Jolly Ranchers is it's something even better. So I put them in cereal colors, which took some time, and melted down some marshmallows. But the blue is kind of a disaster. This was definitely sticking at the bottom, and it's not combining at all. Thankfully, the purple was a lot better. And my goal was to layer all the Jolly Rancher flavors, prior to another degree. And to be honest, these came out way better than I expected. People always think that dessert looks so easy, but it's for me to try. But I started loading a funnel with batter, and immediately realized I had no clue what I was doing. And as I started piping the batter into the oil, oh boy. Try it again. This time trying to move a lot faster. Oh boy, this was much harder than it looks. So third time's the charm. I can nail those crisscross airground patterns. Okay, so maybe I'm not cut out for the carny business. But hey, at least it tasted amazing.
What's that? I really what you saw before.
You know they do make holographic chocolate? Supposedly all you need is a special mold that will reflect light in all directions. But when I melted down chocolate, it came out dull and full of patches. You gotta be kidding me. So I tried again, but with this holographic sheet instead. But figuring out which side was the right side, it's kind of there. That's it. We still need to plan C. Prevent this, or make you Jolly Ranchers instead. And shockingly, that worked. Not expected, but I'll take it. Did you know what I'm doing? Apparently people are paying over $100 for these viral Dubai pancakes. But I wanted to see if I can make them at home and way cheaper. My first concern is that making it was way too thin. Terrible at pancakes, I just need to know how to make them like that. Well, these tools, I looked at some cookie and pistachio cream. And according to the internet, there's a very specific way to stack these. No, you got it. But my way is to do it the way that tastes good. I'll take this over $130 version any day. Here,
One or two.
this donut's so big that it becomes a hazard. Because my biggest concern was that this is so huge that I was having trouble frying it. It took both of us to carefully get it in and fry and flip it. For both of us, it's folded in half a little bit. And to be honest, I kind of wish this was a little more fluffy. So I made the icing thick to hide all the damage areas. And hopefully bring it back to its full glory. Perfect, but still tasted pretty good. When I was a kid, my friend invited me to the movies with her mom and relatively chaperone. And halfway through, as we were deeply engrossed in this movie, the main character popped up dramatically to say, "There's just one thing you need to know, and that is..." And then the light suddenly came on and the movie turned off. The guy on the announcement was like, "Sorry folks, we're having some technical difficulties, please stand by."
But immediately my friend's mom urgently whispered,
"Kids, we have to leave. This place might go up in flames." Before we could object, she rushed us to the car, driving home like we nearly escaped disaster.
I never did find out what that was.
Talking about bringing back this dessert, but it is possible to make it at home. The last time I tried making this was stroopwafels, but this time I decided to use the real stuff. And these things were coming out so hot, so my husband built me the perfect shaking ring. Nothing beats that. But I was still worried about breaking shells while loading ice cream into them. I guess because they were so massive, so I dipped them into the chocolate, sprinkles. These things were massive and delicious. We made AI lava, AI glaciers, and what other items can we try? And I wanted this one to still glow like the others, which is why I looked at some green jello and tried to cut it into cubes. It can be very strict. But in the meantime, I made this quick microwavable cake that when the part exclusive kind of looks like malt. And then I took some chocolate and melted it down to look like rocks. These didn't turn out as well as I thought they were going to be, so when I started putting everything together, I felt like it was missing something.
Make it a vendor.
And the result? It's a earthy metal you can actually eat. We made AI.
It has been destroyed.
Is it possible to make color-changing popping boba? Because by using this one ingredient, the color will change from blue to pink. And at least making the boba was the easy part. Scratch that. Easy if you put the right measurements in, which I did not. So back to square one. Finally, the mixture started to gel. But the moment of truth, to see if it will actually change color. It did not. I was definitely expecting some level of transformation here. At least something faster than this. So after sitting there for a really long time, the color did start to shift from blue to purple. So I guess over time, your drink will get a little fancier. Is it possible to make bubblegum at home? But when I started mixing the gum base with the corn syrup, this was actually impossible to combine. And I didn't realize how fast this process was. Hot, sticky, and chaotic. But once I shaped them into little gum balls, I wanted to do an extra kind of hard coating around it. But the coating ended up melting the gum balls.
Not what I thought it was gonna be.
Maybe I should have frozen these beforehand. Yeah, just missing the ball part. Can't. Rudy keeps turning the boo-boos into food, so I wanted to see if I could make something better. So this time I came extra prepared. Deeper molds and way more color. Every time the boo-boos are supposed to be soft and comfy, I put in the center with a little marshmallow. Except this was an instant regret decision.
Oh my god, it's sweet.
With hot chocolate to seal it, but the real test was trying to get these things out.
What?
I can't believe these actually came out in one piece. So cute and delicious. I picked two of the most viral dishes and mixed them into one. Put it down again. I got this thick enough to cool and shake, but the strawberries were way too juicy, and I kept sliding off and creating holes everywhere. I think that's the best I could. My candy shell. And my impact have a high 9 right here. What do things didn't get a touch of Hollywood? Totally worth it. You use dry ice to make Dippin' Dots. Originally, we started dripping this onto dry ice, hoping it would form little pellets. They ended up just splashing.
You just keep pulling off.
But if the ice cream stayed on top of the dry ice for a couple seconds, then we're seeing difference. This was actually going pretty well, except taking each dot off one at a time meant that they all started melting. So I used a plastic bowl instead. It's a very strategic method. Go fast. And a few hours later, I had a whole stack of Dippin' Dots. So they actually tasted pretty good. If AI lava wasn't enough, now apparently people are making AI glaciers. So of course I had to try it. The only problem is using dry ice again. So the fluff around the rim sounded easy to do. Yeah. But then came the ice chunks and a ton of blue popsicles. But I wanted even more blue in there, so I decided to add some jello as well. So then came the dry ice, which I was a little more than anxious about. Scared. So I came out looking like a bitch. I'm obsessed. If AI lava when I was a kid, I loved being in plays, but always got stuck in the background until one summer camp when I actually landed a speaking role. I spent the whole next week memorizing lines and forcing my friends through endless rehearsals. So about a week before the showtime,
The counselor who was directing the play pulled me aside and said,
so about your role, there was a little bit of a mix-up, and we actually meant to give it to someone else. Sorry. I later found out that his other assistant was a camper that was in her cabin who was crying about it. Apparently, showbiz is brutal, especially when you're tough. I have a hard time picking just one thing you want to eat, so I grabbed every batch I could of cookie dough and started making mini cookies. Okay, not that many, mini cookies. But then came the ice cream, and lots of it. And I was racing to get everything done before it started melting.
oh my god.
Because, yeah, things were melting really fast. I took every flavor I had and brought them onto a stick. This is a wide selection of flavor that I'm all about. Can we make boba pearls into something even better? So I shaved down a melon bar and just hoped it wouldn't melt into a soup before it was done. And then I made some strawberries into a mixture, but I had to move back because I didn't want the boba pearls to sink to the bottom. I hoped this mixture was thick enough, but things had a way of turning on me. Then came the real challenge, getting them out of the mold. It actually took 2 of us pulling to get this through. The ones I got pulled out, they were perfect and totally worked. Can we make an edible of boo-boo? Because finding one of these is nearly impossible. Although at first, I did try typing from reference. It did not go well. But upgrading to a mold solved all my problems. Well, in theory. But this ended up turning into a huge mess. So back to square one. No oil this time. Although I did try to get all the air bubbles. But even then, this came out so sticky.
Well, I mean,
At this point, I just threw on some glitter and called it a day. Can we make an edible? If we turn popsicles into something even better, because I'm big on flavor, I'm disappointed with the color. What if it always looks better on the box? was especially wrong was how not white this white is. Ew. That's weird. What happens if these white crystals that already exist? I thought it was time to mix in the gelatin. Did I eat this first? No, I did not. Despite the whole chaos of this, wasn't going to be piped into the bowl and then out again. They actually turned out pretty cute and delicious. You see the viral lava dessert, but what if we turned it into ice cream lava instead? My only issue is that ice cream melts and it's not transparent. I'm coming up to speaking of cooking melts. Okay, step 2. This time making a chocolate shell inside of a bowl and coating the edges with ice cream. That way the ice cream and the cornstarch stay separate. But this is where my anxiety started getting. Luckily I got it sealed onto the plate, cracked it, and this was unbelievable. Oozy lava and delicious. We can make a s'more, but giant. Like with all the talk, I had to make everything from scratch. I guess grocery store home style this size. The marshmallow was an overnight process, and honestly, might be the stinkiest thing to ever exist. But the graham cracker was the part I was actually nervous about. If this thing breaks, we're done. These things started off okay, but I may not have to listen here. This started turning into a disaster. And I was barely able to pick this thing up. At least it tasted good. What if we can make it? What if we can put popping boba? I made boba using this wild method. So I pureed some strawberries, boiled them with agar agar, and got extremely.
I got a secret death ring in the form. I didn't have this for long. If you were on my stream, you saw the secret death rings. It's like a skeleton king. I was wondering what's the stats on this. One of my subscribers sent me this picture in the files, and the traits are just insane. These are for sure devil. And also a picture of how this race looks alone. Yeah, this has got to be one of the coolest races ever. What do y'all think? Jump down like.
Yo, look, she turned. Who, one thing? She turned either. Oh, that's fine. You know, we just saw Superman and he turned too. What? What you said? Yeah. Man, I don't know. See, it's plans, right? Yeah, they specifically made check out the test. I cool, Superman. There we go. I'm fucking y'all. Wonder Woman though. Or Wonder Woman. What did they say? What did they say? In the event that Wonder Woman turned evil, our best bet is to send Superman to go pull up and down. Cause if he goes, what the hell? That's how I roll. This is fun. Baby, guess the fart. That's my fart.
Is my fart. Hey Jordan, I'm hungry.
What do you want to eat, buddy?
I don't know.
No mac and cheese?
I hate cheese.
Okay, well, what about a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
No, I hate peanut butter. Gross.
Okay, well, what do you eat, buddy?
I like pepperoni sticks.
Alright, well, we don't have any pepperoni sticks. Want a hot dog instead?
No, I hate hot dogs. Ugh.
You like pepperoni sticks, but not hot dog.
Yes, I want pepperoni sticks.
I already said we don't have any pepperoni sticks.
Pepperoni sticks.
You don't?
Pepperoni sticks. Pepperoni sticks.
Okay, let's go to the store and get you some pepperoni sticks.
Pepperoni sticks.
Okay, did you know pepperoni sticks are actually little monkey penises?
Ew, no, you love it.
You don't see many little penises. The monkeys that smell the penises on your breath. They don't hate you.
I don't want monkeys to hate me.
Yes, maybe we should rethink that sandwich. Shouldn't. Hey, son, you want to go to the zoo today?
Mom, hey Jordan,
does hightail through the far lanes. It's got the video to test if the world is infinite, and his conclusion was this.
I think it's safe to say the world is definitely infinite.
Wrong, no shame or anything, but his analytical methods are super flawed. All he found is his slide at normal speed for 30 minutes and then calls it a day. I mean, hey, he got 500,000 views from it. I'd expect the effort, but I need answers. I've done the calculations, and the most he traveled was about 165,000, which isn't much. So I decided to just do it myself. I booted up a new world and used the in-game asset editor to change my mode speed to 1000x, and then I went off. Oh, we're going so fast. It took me literal seconds to go his entire distance, by the way, and we ain't stopping there. For the first couple of 100,000 blocks, the game was pretty okay, except for some small rendering issues. That's besides the point. Until I reached 1 million, then my character began glitching out, and at times it even went black. And that's not even the weirdest thing that happened. At 2 million, the world shakes around me. If you go even further, the game just completely breaks down. But if you want to see that, make sure to watch my full video.
Hey, how you doing it? What? How are you doing it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
How do you keep getting out of the backyard?
I don't get out of the backyard.
Yes, you do. And you've been going to see the neighbor's dog, haven't you?
No, I mean, I've seen around a little bit. But
Then why did she have puppies?
what does it have to do with me?
They're yours.
How do you know that?
So you're telling me these aren't yours?
She was thick.
Nah, you know what? I know what I gotta do now.
What are you talking about? We're gonna take a little trip to the doctor.
Nah, you know I don't like the doctor. I can't keep finding a home for these puppies. But what about you? Man, you with the booty kitties here all the time. But I don't have puppies now, do I?
Where are we going?
Yeah, exactly.
So, we're going, right? Fine. Can you at least grab my chew toy right here for me?
Yeah, sure. I'm not gonna let y'all do me like they did Spike. I'm a good boy. That's super.
Hey, water or effective? Look for the effective. Obviously, I'm gonna pick the water. And wait, who makes this?
Excuse me?
You're genius. What is the small?
Ooh, oh yeah. Is that it's like saying? Well, that's pretty wicked. Like me.
No, not so close. No.
Don't get invited to me. Alright, you anime characters are gathered here today because people don't like you and you can't seem to understand why, alright? Who's first? Hi, my name is Sakura from Naruto. Quick selfie right there, Sakura. We're not doing this today. We're not gonna make this video about you, alright? There's already enough of that on the internet. You should already understand why people don't like your ass. Get out. But I still don't like no character. Yeah, next! Hi, my name is Mine from Rise of the Shield Hero, and honestly, I'm a princess. People should already know what they know. Let's see, you lied and convinced the whole country that the main character did things to you without your consent, constantly getting this man's way over the smallest, minute shit, trying to have your little sister assassinated on the low just so she wouldn't come into power over you. I mean, there's a reason you're nicknamed Bitch in the show.
Well, isn't that really a them problem?
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, this game kind of tiring. Can one of y'all make me some mixed energy real quick while I'm waiting on the next person? Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm from Tower of God. I'm the main love interest. I can't think of one single reason why people wouldn't like me. I can give you 5 reasons why people don't like your ass. Lying, deceptive, manipulative, entitled, delusional, ungrateful. Bitch! Oh my bad, that was 7. Alright, you Anna.
Yeah. Tiffany, what you do? Took out Ben 10. Oh, shoot. How you do? See, I noticed. Ben 10 only strong because he in his alien forms. So I waited for him to turn back normal. And that's all you did? That's all it took. And get this. Before I ran off, I stood over him. I'm like, hey, I'm the one who smoked you. Me. Nobody else. It all happened because of me. And you ain't double tapped me either, huh? Nah, I need you. Hey, sit down, bro. What's going on? Hey, man, I love what you did. Like, it really could have worked. Hey, thanks, man. You know me. But wait, could've? Yeah. So this watch got a mode to where whenever he about to, it automatically changes so that he won't.
We unfortunately just lost an absolute king on the internet today who previously went viral for all the right reasons. Amir Dola. And despite that most of his personal life is unknown, he exploded on the internet in the late 2000s for this, taking this picture of himself after receiving a $2 tip from his Uber job. And then the internet created a supreme version of Amir, who portrayed him as a legendary food deliverer who will do anything it takes to complete his job, no matter the circumstances. And then these crazy stories of Amir literally took over the internet, and at first they were extremely hilarious to watch. But then the Amir Dola meme would quickly spiral down into a depressing tragedy because he was found dead trying to deliver his food. Unfortunately.
Now it's your.
Are you hot? Huh? That's the first question you ask? No, I'm open as shit. You should probably ask her a question.
You take this. Oh my god, thank god you're back. Rent is due tomorrow. Rent? I gave you millions. Just buy a property.
Yeah, I was going to buy a property in Egypt.
If you take this bill, you will get $2 million, but you cannot talk to your kids for the rest of your life. Ah, that's it. Are you kidding me? What? You can't talk to your kids like ever.
Is it to buy chocolate flavor?
Yeah, we're going. It's really good. Thanks. What? You just abandoned your kids for $2 million.
What kids? I don't have kids.
Okay, if you take this bill, you will get $4 million, but you cannot pay for the restaurant bills when you're out with your friends.
What? Are you crazy?
It's $4 million we're talking about. You just abandoned your kids for $2 million.
It doesn't matter. I'm a man.